Hope the transmission is good. Giving all the praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakar Kodash. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right? Giving double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who taught me all I know. Right, I'm going to do this sit down about an open rebuke on the so-called GMS elder of South Carolina, GMS South Carolina, Manata Zakba, right? About he pretty much did a sit down in his car, speaking about a situation wherein a young man from a affiliate camp must have obviously he must have been told not to come down to the camp, but he came down anyway. And when he came down, before he started up camp, talking about the elder, the so-called elder, GMS South Carolina, before he actually started camp, he pretty much told him to fuck off, pretty much, right? So I'm gonna do this rebuke about that, and the whole video was a whole contradiction to the whole point of why we men as prophets go out there into the highways and byways. It was a complete contradiction in itself. What he did was off, right? To be honest, is an embarrassment to other brothers that are of a senior level, that have been in this truth for a while, that are you know, we're old, man. We're kind of older brothers within the truth. Is an insult, because it's like now you're making it look like other brothers that are considered to be elders or called elders. We would refuse other men that want to come out. Listen, man, when you come out there in the highways and byways, the whole point of what you're doing is trying to bring in men to fill up the Heavenly Father's house, that his house may be filled. That's in Luke 14 and 23. Let me just get it, so I don't want to butcher it, man. Let me get this Luke. This is Luke 14, verse 21. So that servant came and showed his lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind, so men that are in need. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. Paul said something to the effect of, I do all things, I endure all things for the elect's sake, man. Right? And that man, even though according to what Elder Manata Zakba is saying, what he's saying is that young brother, that he's been in the truth for, you're talking about 6 years, right? And that he's already been, yeah, but let me tell you something. 6 years, you're still learning, all right? Because you might be in a camp for six years, but there's still breakdowns. Especially, still you don't know everything. You don't know everything yet, man. And you might need guidance or breakdowns from a man that's a bit more experienced, because the camp that you're in, the leader of your camp, you might be under poor governance. So that brother probably came to GMS South Carolina because he's he looks up to him. Do you understand? Maybe he can teach him things that he wasn't getting from the camp that he was already a part of. Do you understand? And especially as well with Great Millstone, they portray this, they give this facade as if you're not in the truth unless you're within Great Millstone. So that guy's trying to come in, so it's almost like the so-called elder, he's shutting up the doors of the kingdom to that man, which is exactly what he did. Right? Let me try and pull it out.
Alright, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakar Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Shalom to the holy elect. Alright, and this is going to be a video entitled testimony.
Get to the point, man.
But of peace, as in all churches of the saints. And we needed to be made, so here it is. It's a lot here. So, make a long story short, about 2 weeks ago, two camps ago, not the last camp we just had, right? Today being Thursday, but the camp before that, the last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. Probably in the middle of the week, I don't remember exactly what day that it was, I received a comment on the comment board, right, from this individual. And initially, I wasn't even going to say who the person is or the camp or nothing, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there because we're not in the time now where we're going to start trying to, spare individuals' feelings, trying to cover them, trying to keep shit concealed. Nah, well, I'll just bring it out. So there's a camp called, down here in South Carolina, there's a camp called Men of Israel. Okay, that's just the title of the camp, Men of Israel. I don't know exactly how many members they got. They probably got upwards between 5 to 6 or 7 members. Now, I know of the camp, but I'm not that familiar with them brothers. Nothing against them. As far as I know,
that brother looks like Lakamar, man. He looks like the brother Lakamar.
So, a year ago, they would have been classified as an affiliate camp. I don't know if they give double honor. I'm not sure. But they're familiar with us, with GMS and all of that. Like I said, I think they teach the same doctrine as us. Anyway, I got a comment on the comment board from one of the brothers. At the time, I didn't know who he was. He goes by the name of Yashimai, right? So he made a comment.
He looks like Lakamar.
And I'm not saying exactly how he said it, but something to the effect of, hey, can you tell me what day y'all go to, what time y'all go to camp? I want to come to the camp or whatever. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying exactly how he said it. So I read the comment on the comment board, and immediately, my first notion was to ignore it. My first notion was to ignore it, but then after I went away from the video and I thought about it, I said, well, damn, I ain't gonna just ignore it. I don't even know who it is.
Right.
So I go back on the video and I answer back to the person, to the brother. I say, don't take this the wrong way, but not at this time. Meaning, don't come to the camp, right? Because we're not in the time now where we're gonna just openly fellowship with any person, the people that we don't know. He didn't use the word fellowship. He just said he wanted to come to the camp.
Now, first and foremost, you're talking about fellowship. You're talking about fellowship with guys that you don't know. The scriptures talk about entertaining strangers, man. Right? Shalom to the brother, our reasonable service, Daniela. Shalom, may the Most High bless you in your household. The brother Chikamadu, the brother Michael, right? Shalom to you brothers, man. Okay? Let me get this precept. This is Hebrews. I remember that we were strangers in a land that was not ours. We were bondmen. We were strangers. So we're meant to entertain strangers. Because remember, that is the historical legacy of our forefathers, our ancient forefathers. We were strangers in lands that were not ours. So when he's saying that, we don't really want to entertain guys that we don't know, then why do you go home then, man? Why don't you just go home, yeah, and and do your little sit-downs. You might as well just be a bushman. You might as well be a man in the bush. In fact, it's bad enough that we have men in secluded areas. It's bad enough, right, that there is a doctrine, there's a spirit of we can teach wherever we want to teach. We don't have to entertain people. We don't have to teach people. We don't have to we don't have to speak in face to face, even though the Lord said, don't be afraid of their faces, meaning go to them. Least I confound you before them, right? Meaning you're supposed to be of a courageous spirit. It's bad enough that you have fear-mongering men that don't want to go out there, but then you have men that you would think are supposed to be elders, right? A renowned elder, right? This guy, GMS South Carolina, and he's saying that he doesn't want to entertain people he don't know. Then what is it all for then? What's it all for? Why are you going out there? You're supposed to entertain people you don't know. It says we're a spectacle. When you look at the word spectacle, it's something about a theater, right? And what do people in theater do? You're entertaining strangers. You're entertaining people you don't know. Right, so this is Hebrews 13:2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. So that was probably a test to him, GMS South Carolina. That was a test to him to see whether he would entertain that or whether he truly has the spirit. And it revealed that he's out there. You would think that because a man's out there, that he wants to bring in. His mind he's prioritizing the elect. You know, he's trying to draw men. He's out there deliberately putting himself out there publicly, right, to draw attention to himself. You would think that would be the case, but he's now showing that ain't really why he out there. He's talking about, now he's saying that really we don't want to be bothered. We want to go out, we want to do our video and then go home. Just go home, bro. Just go home. You know? Just go home, man. Stop faking. You got a lot of fake niggas, man, with garments on, even in positions, it seems like in authority, man, right? Or we just want to just do our videos and just go home. That's no way to talk to another man that could potentially be part of the elect. And the prophet, you can clearly see the young man looking up to him. You looked up to him, man. You know, the fact that he came anyway, you know, and the fact that he didn't even bring his garment, because I know the mind frame behind that. He didn't bring his garment because he doesn't want to look like he's part of the camp. He doesn't want to be too forward. So he's going to come with his Bible, but he's not going to come with his garment on, because he doesn't want to just, you know, I came with my garment. Yeah, I'm part of it. You know, because remember, he's an affiliate. So he's going to come down with the Bible. And also he said that, he said, oh, the young brother, this young guy, he said how, yeah, you know, there's agents, you know, there's spies, rare. So the brother already knows within his head that that's how he may be perceived. But he's coming anyway, because in his mind, it's equivalent, man. The way I see it is like a brother trying to get into the kingdom. A man's trying to get into the kingdom, and you shutting the doors of salvation. You acting like Noah's Ark is already closed. Right? You acting like the door's already shut. The door's still open, man. Right? In fact, what's that? That's in Salakia, brother, Daniela, man. I know you got that preset. Let me just get this. I think it's in John. It's in so I think it's in Luke, you know. Let me get this. Right, there you go. It's St. Luke chapter 11 verse 52. Woe unto you lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye hindered. Right, you understand? So he's hindering the man, and he even said that he saw the brother walk away disappointed. And you know what? Through the Spirit, Manota's up, boy. You know what you did was off. You know what you did was off. That's why you need to conjure up all these different justifications as to why you did what you did. He knows exactly what he did was off. That's why he said, oh, the guy didn't even bring his garment, right? He didn't bring his garment. He's just weird. You know, the guy's weird. No, you're weird, bro. You are weird. All these different justifications and variables. No, the man just wants to come down and hear the word. And it's very different from watching a live stream than opposed to actually being out there on the front line, actively in real time on the highways and byways. Some brothers want a piece of that action, and they highly respect men that are actually out there as opposed to men that are in the bushes. In these reserved or quiet areas where nobody is. Men respect those brothers more that are actually on the battlefield, that are on the front lines of battle, that are actually fulfilling Romans 12, where it says making your body a living sacrifice. Men respect that. And the fact that he came out, he said, I know the elder said no, but you know, maybe I could show him that I'm sincere, you know. Like a woman that you really want. You know, you brothers might know back in the day when, you know, you was inexperienced with women. You might tell a woman that you like her, she say no, but then you're like, oh, maybe if I show her that I'm a good guy, maybe she'll like me. You know, so the guy came up sincere, man. You know, so look here, this is Sirach 6:33. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. So the brother was looking to be wise from elder men. That's what the scripture says. If he that walks with wise men shall be wise, right? he is a companion of fools, shall be destroyed. It tells you that in Proverbs, right? Verse 34, stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. So there you go. So you see that's a high honor that a man will contact you. Listen, let me tell you something. That's something I want. And that's why I was so pissed when I watched the video, because, you know, we have a little group chat, right? And the brother, he posted, like, some brothers posted that video, right? They shared the link on the group chat, and I clicked on it because I just got my phone back yesterday because my phone smashed on my last live stream. So what happened was, now that I got it fixed, I had, like, you talking about 300 messages that I haven't read yet. So I went to it, clicked on the video now, and as I was listening, I was so pissed because he refused something that I want. I want that. I want, bro. Every time I get a brother saying, yeah, when are you next gonna be out there? When next you're gonna go out there in the highways and byways? Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, leave me a message on one of my videos. Leave a comment on one of my videos. And then I'll send me your email. That's what I'm like. That's how I'm like. I'm trying to draw brothers in. It would have been my pleasure to have that brother come down to the camp, man. That would have been a blessing for him to come down. I said, come through. I would have introduced him to the brothers in the camp and say, yeah, this is Daniel, this is Mashak, right? This is Kabash, this is Nasaya. I would have introduced them. You know, I would have, you know, been brotherly, all that. You know, it really, because when you're out there in the highways and byways, your whole mind frame is to present fruit to the Heavenly Father and say, yeah, this is what I brought forth. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was able to achieve. You know what I'm saying? But then he's there throwing money away. That's pretty much, that's like 10 grand. You just threw it in the bin. Right? You know? Let me get this. So this says, Sirach 6 verse 35, be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. Be willing to hear every godly discourse. So there you go, you have it. And what better way than to hear from elderly men that you've learned from? Do you understand? So it says, escape thee. Sirach 6 verse 36, and if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes. The word betimes means early unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. But the beautiful thing about that is actually considered to be quite rude to actually wear the steps of a man's door. Let me get this right now. It's Sirach. It's let me get this right now. Let me get this in Sirach. Let me get this right now. This is right. So it says, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 21 verse 22. A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him. Right. So according to this so-called elder, South Carolina, it was a shame unto that young brother to actually calm down, even though he was told not to calm down. But listen, for the sake of salvation, to seal his salvation, man, right, to ensure his salvation, right, come through. And he even said it himself. He said it that if he was in his shoes, he would have did the same thing. He actually said that himself. He said if he was in his shoes and he wanted to get into the camp, he would have came down, right? So it's almost like a straight contradiction. Like the guy was just mumbling the whole video because he knows that he went off, and that's how you know when a man goes off, when there's loopholes in what he's saying in his video. And you're talking about it's only for 20 minutes. And another thing that killed me was the amount of likes it got, man. A brother said that in the group chat, the amount of likes. He got like what, over 200 likes. So what does that show you? That shows you there's a lot of as the brother Ariel said, there's a lot of dick sucking, there's a lot of dick riding men, zombies within Great Millstone. You're not exactly trying the spirits and examining the spirit that a man is coming in. Just because he's of a rank, you just swear by the guy without actually seeing his works. The scripture says, by their fruits, you're gonna know them, man. Right? Because he's giving off the kind of spirit like he doesn't want to be bothered. But if you don't want to be bothered, you just go home, man. You know, just go home or join the men in the bushes. Stop pretending. But you see that the Lord is kind of, and he said that he didn't actually want to do that video. But it's the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that came upon him to do that video, just so men can see what's really within him. But you see that video was really for that, but you could say it was probably for that young brother, because he was very disappointed when he walked away and he was pretty much told to, you know, to F off, right? But that was because he probably watched back that video, played back that video now that GMS South Carolina has done, and he's probably said, you know, but it was through the spirit, you know, where it said all flesh consort of the kind. The Most High probably doesn't want that young man around GMS South Carolina. They probably don't want him around him, so he probably dodged the bullet and didn't even know it. He probably dodged the bullet and didn't even know it. Like, now, you might think that I'm getting at a GMS South Carolina because of how he refused me when I came on the elder apostles comment section, and I was saying Shalom, I was posting scriptures, and he said, and he pretty much blocked me and said I should go and apologize to the men that I offended over here across the pond in the UK, right? So, and it's got nothing to do with that. It's based off, I can see the man's spirit. I can see his fruit. I can see the manner of man he is. And to be frank, I don't like the man. I don't like him at all. Don't like him. You know? Don't like the guy. Don't like his spirit. He's very malicious. You know? He'll rebuke before he's even examined the matter. It's almost like the man's been hurt or so. I don't know to talk about the man's business like that. But he's giving off the kind of vibe like he's been hurt or in the past, and he's ventilating it on brothers in the truth. I've seen him do that many times. There's brothers that have sincerely asked him questions on the comments, on, you know, certain comment sections or whatnot. And he's there talking harshly to the man, and the man didn't even mean. You can clearly see that the man just probably just asking a question, you know what I'm saying? What's the saying? Pride before a fall. And he's very prideful, a very prideful individual. You know, we all need to check ourselves about that pride. You know what I'm saying? We all need to, you know, scripture says a wise man knoweth when he slippeth. You know? But you know what, the main thing I didn't like about that video is not so much that, okay, you might have told the young brother to leave, right? Right, Fez, you know, old men, or what it says, old men are not always wise, ancient men are not always wise. So sometimes, you might go off even as a more experienced man. But what pissed me off is that he did the video trying to project his fuckery upon on the younger brother, trying to make it look like he fucked up. When you know damn well you messed up, man. But you're trying to make it look like we all make, no, you made the mistake. He didn't make a mistake. He's trying to ensure his salvation in the way he thinks best is to come down and go see you, right? Because first and foremost, you want to examine why you didn't wish for him to come down. You should be more than happy for him to come down, man, right? Remember, your comfortability doesn't matter anymore. You put yourself in the highways and byways. Your personal, remember, your body is a living sacrifice. You don't matter anymore. What matters is you're putting other men before yourselves. But anyway, let me just get this, because I feel like I'm rambling. Sirach 21 verse 22. A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him. A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. Right? So you're saying that he was told not to come down to the camp, and if he was well nurtured, he would have stood without and just followed orders. But let me read on. So it says, it is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with the disgrace. Right? Because they're saying that they don't want anybody to come down to their camp. Listen, man, if I wanted to come into a camp, I'll just show up. I wouldn't even leave a text. I wouldn't even, leave it. I'll just show up at the camp. I was saying to myself, for the brother to text us GMS South Carolina, I say, bro, you know where they were. That's why you went down there. Just show up. Just show up in the spirit of sincerity, and let the spirit of the Lord deal with the rest, man. But let me just get this precept. But now it says this. Now this sounds like this is the contradiction. This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 14, verse 22. Go after her, go after her wisdom as one that traceth, and lie in wait in her ways. He that prieth in at her windows shall also hearken at her doors. So it's telling you it's rude to do those things, but for the sake of wisdom, for the sake of getting knowledge and understanding, do it. Do it, man. Even if you look rude, for the sake of knowledge, the sake of getting wisdom, for the sake of getting more experienced men around you, go and wear that down that man's doorsteps. And read also, it says, he that prieth in at her windows shall also hearken at her doors. He that doth lodge near her house shall also fasten a pin in her walls. He shall pitch his tent nigh unto her. Right? So that man is trying to cleave onto GMS South Carolina, Manasseh Zotba, right? He shall pitch his tent nigh unto her, and shall lodge in a lodging where good things are. So there you go, there you have it, man. So for the sake of getting knowledge, in my opinion, he did the right thing. I don't know why, as an elder, you would tell other men that desire to see you in action and to probably learn from your experience and, to be enlightened by you, why you would refuse those types of men. Let me get this precept. And wear the steps of his door. So that was Sirach 6 and 36. Right? Matthew 19 and 14. But Yahweh said, suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. See, there you go, there you have it. Suffer the little children. Right? To be totally honest, there was a lot of double speak in the video. There was a lot of double, but that shows you that a man of an unstable mind, because he was unstable because he knew what he did was off. But he's just using that video as a way to justify himself, trying to blame, oh, he didn't bring his garment. I'm trying to focus on different things that's happening around. I don't know if he's going to pull something out of his bag and all this stuff. I'm thinking, bro, you're just talking at this point. You're just talking shit, right? Because you messed up and you're trying to blame him, showing your lack of sincerity. There's even narcissistic men in chief positions. And it shows pride, But then you want to ask yourself, the other elders within GMS have seen that video that he did. Are they going to pull him out? What are they going to do? Are they going to talk about that? No, they're not. But it's only if you're an affiliate camp or if you're another camp, they're quick to do a video on you. Big time, they'll be quick to do a video on you. But if it's a man within their ranks, they'll sweep it under the rug, man. They'll act like it never happened. Do you understand? So it's like, do you understand? You see that? You see the craftiness there. So let me get this. I don't know, right? Such as the kingdom, right? We're not here to be comfortable or have things go how we want them to be. It's part of us long suffering, having to do things we may not want to, but it being our reasonable service. There you go. The brother is often unnecessarily rude. Exactly. He is. The brother Michael said that the brother is often unnecessarily rude to people. It comes off as highly arrogant and distasteful. Exactly. And that's literally why I stopped watching him. Talking about GMS South Carolina, that's actually why I stopped watching him. Right? That's why I stopped watching him. Because it's like, I'm watching him, I'm thinking, no, man, I think he's getting carried away with either his title, his position, or the amount of subscribers he may have. Do you understand? He might be getting gassed up by that. I'm just trying to say, I was highly pissed off. It really was this morning when I watched the video, and I said, and it wasn't just me, there's a whole plethora of other brothers that said they're going to do a sit down and call his name out in that, man, because it's gotten to that point, man, right? So it says you have a lot of control freaks within the ministry. At that spirit shows forth a lack of faith. Yeah, right? Because in one hand you're saying check in with GMS, but then when a man does try to check in, you tell him to fuck off. What's that about? I believe that what's that guy? This guy, he did a video about checking in just the other day. What is it? Men won't check in because they despise dominion. What's his name? GMS contrition. GMS contrition is key. GA3163.
Double R's to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Chai Napash coming at you with another lesson. This lesson is going to be entitled Men Won't Check In Because They Despise Dominion.
This was 3 days ago.
You know, and that's the reason, you know, men don't want to check in and deal with leadership, you know, because they despise dominion, right?
Right. Yeah, but there's a guy that you know, he's trying to check in with GMS South Carolina, and he's been told to pretty much fuck off, right? Or keep it stepping. So what do you think that's going to send to other brothers that want to check in? What do you think that kind of message subliminally that's sending to other men? Because, you know, let me just continue.
The only dominion that they respect is their own dominion. All right? They have no problem telling men what to do, you know, and giving men orders and whatever the case may be. But they themselves can't take orders. Okay? They themselves run from the spotlight, right? Because the spotlight is what reveals you. You know, it's really the Holy Spirit. Okay?
And so that's what he was going into the whole thing, right? The whole bit. But he actually had a guy that come up in his comment section asking about, you know, what do you do if you want to check in, but then they tell you to keep it stepping. There's a guy that actually came up in his comment section and asked that. Do you know what I'm saying? And the guy didn't even know how to respond to that. So it shows you right there that there's a double-mindedness even within Great Millstone. Let me just get back to this, man.
Anyway, even after you asked it, I told you, not at this particular time. And I began to explain to him, I said, look, no hard feelings, but when people want to come and they want to come in, I said, it's kind of hard when you don't know somebody and they come up and they want to stand there and watch you the whole time while we teaching. We focusing on the scriptures, but if somebody there that I don't know, right, I got to watch you, see what you're doing, see if you're trying to reach in your bag, pull. I didn't say this to him, but this is the point I'm making. I got to watch you, see what you're doing, see what you're up to. Meanwhile, we're trying to break the scriptures down. We're trying to watch the people, looking for danger and doing all these things. It's and I told him, I said, it's uncomfortable when people want to come.
You just want to be by yourself, man.
People want to come to the camp and you're trying to teach, you know? And he was like, yeah, I understand. It was like he was saying he understood, but I could see that it really wasn't registering with him. And I think he thought that...
Man, what better way to lead people than... If you want to talk about being a leader, because every man... Let me say something, man. I don't want to feel like I'm going off. Listen, the reason why brothers come to the truth, a lot of you brothers are looking to be leaders. You're potentially going to be leaders of the world to come. Right? How are you going to lead men if you feel uncomfortable even being around men? You know? Let me get back to this.
I was gonna let him stay, you know. Now, like I said, the one thing that I noticed, he didn't have a garment. Usually, if brothers roll up on us, because I had a similar situation with another.
So what, bro?
Young brother that came from another part of South Carolina, and I think these men of Israel camp. I think they were in Greenville, South Carolina, which is a hell of a long way from Myrtle Beach.
Talking about he didn't have a garment. Who cares, man?
Greenville it's got to be more than 3 hours, I would imagine. And I began to ask him, like, well, what do y'all, you know? He began to tell me that, well, yeah, today Friday, but I'm going to camp tomorrow with the brothers and this, that, and the other. And I told him, I said, yeah, I'm familiar with your camp. What which I am, but I don't really watch them. You know, I don't know them all that good or nothing. But I remember one thing that I had in my mind was the leader. I don't know if it's the same guy now, but the former leader of that camp, he came on our radar over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, because he was making stupid moves. You know, this one leader.
We get to the point, man.
I didn't say this to this brother, but through talking to him, I learned that he'd been in the truth for 6 years. Okay. So to make a long story short, what I wound up doing was I just told him, I said, well, look, don't, you know, he said, well, I just want to meet you brothers and this, that. So what we did was, I told the brother to come closer. We saluted, right? Kind of shook hands. We greeted, you know, as Israelites, you know. And after that, I sent the young man on his way. I went in.
Yeah, he knows you fucked up.
You know,
you saw that look. He knows he messed up. You shouldn't have done that.
And I can see that he went away. He was kind of disappointed or whatever. But you know what? You got to learn how to take instruction. You got to move. And that's why I read that all things be done decently and in order. And he also told me, too, that he had met, I don't know if he said he fellowshipped or if he said he met the brothers from GMS Midlands camp, the South Carolina Midlands camp. Now, all them brothers, they got my phone number. You know, them brothers, we close-knit here in the Carolinas and in all GMS. So if that brother wanted to come to the camp, the answer probably would have still been no, but he could at least contact them brothers, got them to contact me, or he could have reached out to the Charlotte brothers and got a hold of me through that.
I thought men were supposed to check in, though. I thought men are supposed to check in to your nearest GMS camp.
He could have came on the comment board in advance or whatever, got his camp leader or somebody. One thing you don't do, you don't just show up at the camp, especially after you've been told no. You know, I declined having that individual come to our camp, and he wound up showing up anyway. And like I said, he showed up, no garment. You know, he didn't even have a garment, you know, in a bag or nothing. He just showed up with his Bible, and I'm like, what was that all about? You know, why would you do that?
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a man showing up to your camp, right? And he doesn't have his garment, but he has his Bible. There's nothing wrong with that.
So, you know, it could have been something. It could have been nothing. It's probably nothing.
So you know it's nothing.
He seemed like a nice young guy or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're going to stick with protocol. Okay? And I kind of stuck with it. Because normally, that's happened 1 or 2 times. Guys showed up that, you know, didn't notify beforehand. It just kind of showed up. And we let them stay. We let them stay. And we in the spirit of brotherhood. But in this particular instance, since you reached out and you asked, and I said no, and you showed up anyway, therefore I said you're on your way. Now, to put it out there, we don't want men just coming up to the camp that we don't know. We don't want that.
Why? Why don't you want men coming up to the camp that you don't know? Why do you not want men coming to the camp you don't know? What's that about? What kind of spirit is that? You don't know. You just why are you out there? Just go home. Just go home, man. You know? And who's we? Because he's like he's not speaking for himself. He's speaking for other Great Millstone guys. So you other Great Millstone guys. Now I'm not saying that you're gonna respond. I'm not. You know, this is not. My spirit is just on the spirit. A spirit's on me just to do a video to really make a rebuke about this whole incident, right? And this spirit, because this spirit is prevalent within Great Millstone. So now it's not just men in the bushes that have this kind of spirit. It's men that are now also in the highways and byways that have the spirit of don't come around me, right? I don't know you. I don't want to be bothered, right? I just want to do my videos and then go home. This guy, come on, this guy ain't rap, man.
Sometimes Jake gets zeal, and they want to come, and they, you know, want to come to the camp or whatever. And really,
he showed up with his spiritual garment, yeah.
That's what I would do.
Exactly.
In the event that I want to join, I was trying to get in the camp, right? The thing with men say.
So he said it himself that that's something that he would do if he wanted to get into a camp. So.
I just want to meet you. I just want to meet you, brothers. I just want to see y'all, because from his point of view, he just wanted to see us. He just wanted to watch us in action or something like that. To me, that's kind of, you know, that's a little bit weird. Because, I mean, my thing...
There's nothing weird about that. There's nothing weird about that. Listen, let me tell you something. I already said it before. There's some brothers they respect men that are actually out there in the highways and byways, and they think they can learn a thing or two. They're inspired by that. They're inspired, man. Right? And it's your job, your responsibility as an elder to keep their flames going. That brother, you can clearly see he's on fire, right? He looks up to the man. He looks up to this GMS South Carolina dude, right? He should have represented. Instead, you quench the spirit, man. You quench the spirit. See, and that spirit of quenching the spirit, that is prevalent in Israel, right? Within Great Millstone, because even, you know, I was actually going to do a sit down about that upon London, over here across the pond, GMS London forecasters. They're now dousing the fire by teaching against persecution. Now persecution is a bad thing. But anyway, let me just get back to this.
So I said, if all you want to do is watch us, you can just watch from home like everybody else. Like, anytime you want to watch us at camp, you can go on the channel, you know, because we're not celebrities, we're not entertainers.
Yeah, he's not getting
famous people. We don't, we ain't on it like that. All we want to do is we want to teach and we want to go home.
See what I'm saying?
We want to go home, and it's better for us when we can teach the word with no distractions.
What?
People are distracting, but we expect that because we out there to teach the word.
Bro, what are you talking about, man? Teach the word with no distractions, man. What are you talking about? Then what are you doing out there in the streets? Talking about you don't want to be distracted. See, and it all starts with pride, with the inability to accept that you fucked up. Right? He knows in the spirit that he messed up, but due to his pride, now he's starting to say a bunch of weird shit. Because his inability to look at himself and say, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. You know, really you owe the young man an apology because he's a young man, and as an elder, the greatest thing you could do is inspire younger men, man. Younger men, right, keep their fire going, teach them a little thing or two, right, be brotherly, right, show them certain precepts that they're probably not getting from the camp that they're currently in, right. But this is a learning curve for the young brother. That young brother, I don't know his name because Gmss South Carolina, he said his name. This is something that he needs to learn, right? And it's part of his chastity, maybe because the Most High loves him, right? The Lord loves those he chastises, you know. So it's part of probably his chastising.
But a guy standing over here, it just create an awkward dynamic. You know, you standing across from us, people coming up and down the sidewalk. They start feeling like they're walking in the middle, like it just creates a weird dynamic.
That's not weird. That's what the elders did, man.
You know, to anybody.
The elders did that. The elder apostles, they did that. So I'll keep stopping and starting, man. They did that back in the day.
Out there that just want to come to the camp and just watch us. No, we don't want you to come and just watch us. If you want to just watch, just stay home and watch. You know, just watch us on the live stream like everybody else. Now, if you a brother that you interested in being a part of the camp, you're going to come to the camp, and once you start coming, you're going to come every week. You're going to have your notebook. You're going to take... I ain't even going to tell you what to do. We know what we're looking for, and when we see it, we know it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to show some diligence. And it's going to take some time. We're going to make you wait. We're going to put you through stuff and all of that. With that being said, though, I'm going to say this.
Yeah, exactly.
Brothers that's... I speak for the Carolinas, but really the sentiment is for, for everywhere. Because the apostle said this, a decree went out already that men that were so-called affiliates, that there was a period of time and a period in time where you could come into GMS if you were affiliate brothers. We knew you already. And everybody that wanted to do that, they made it known. And they came forward. There was a lot of people that knew, and everybody knew about it. There was a lot of men that...
I don't have all the time to be going through this because I don't want to make this too lengthy, man. Salakio. Shalom to the brothers, Ariyash, servants of the throne, Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Brakathami, the Most High bless you and yours, man. Okay? So lock you. Right, they have a lot of control. They have a lot of control freaks. Really, it's not even about checking in. Really, it's about them having this dominions over other men. They want to flex their muscles over other men. Right? That's where it is, the feeling of being in control of everybody. You know, that egotism. That's what it's about. It's got nothing to do with checking in. It's got nothing to do with that. It's about this being over, feeling that you are somebody and trying to flex your vain, that vanity, that vain lifted up, that, you know, that sense of yourself. That's what it's really about. Don't be fooled by that checking in shit. Okay. And what's it? Not everyone has access to the internet. Exactly. Not everyone has access to the internet. I'm not saying the brother hasn't, but men use that as an excuse. Exactly. The man probably didn't have internet to be watching live streams. That's probably why he came down. You understand? And the man's trying to ensure his salvation. He's trying to get in. And the most you could have done as an elder is receive them, right? Because really, you shouldn't have had that desire of not wanting him around. Why would you not want him around? That should have really. You said, wow, man, you know, I've got brothers looking up to me. Yeah, the brother's trying to, you know what I'm saying? You could probably teach him. You know how grateful that brother would be? That brother would be extremely grateful. And then think about how highly your name could have been exalted if you'd have let that brother around. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then that brother would have been truly grateful. In fact, what does it say? Oh, there's actually there's a precept that goes, when you make a feast, when you make a party, don't bring in men that you know, bring in men that you don't know, right? Let me get that. That's in what's that precept? What's that precept up? Because I'm gonna close out in a minute. This is bring men to feast. Right, Luke 14 and 13, right. Let me get this. So this is St. Luke. Let me get this right now. So it says Luke chapter 14, verse 12. Let me start with verse 11. For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Right? Then said he also to him that bade him, when thou makest a dinner or a supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor thy rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and a recompense be made thee. Right? But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, the blind, and thou shalt be blessed, for they cannot recompense thee. For thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. Right, so when you have a feast and you bring in men to your feast, don't bring men that you know can return back the favor. Right? Because really you're only doing it because you know these are men that can return back the favor. But if you're going to make a dinner or make a feast, bring in the stranger, bring in men that you don't know. Because they can't recompense you, showing you that you truly have faith, man. Right? You truly have faith in believing that it's the Lord that's going to reward. He's the one that's going to recompense you in the end. Okay? Bringing the poor, the maimed, the light. There you go. There you have it, man. Salakio. Right, for 2 Timothy 2 and 24, and the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt, there you go, apt to teach, and patient. There you go. The man's supposed to be apt to teach. Okay? Right, if you're having a day where you're not comfortable, don't go out there. 2 Timothy 2 and 25, in meekness instructing those that oppose themselves, if the Most High peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth. Right, instructing those that oppose themselves, because you don't know what kind of affliction that brother was going through. He probably needed an elder man to try and show him certain things. He probably needed an elder man to have a bit of guidance, because, you know what I'm saying, to be like father figure to him. You don't know what like strife, what kind of things he's going through, and you rejected the man. That's off, man. Let me get this right now. This is Matthew 25. It's Matthew 25, verse 31. And when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was a-hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. You see? I was a stranger. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Right? You see that? And remember, it's actually it's customary to, when you actually bring in a guest into your house, you're meant to prioritize the guest above all else. I believe when you go to Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah, and I think Lot, the Sodomites wanted to rape the guest. I believe rape the guest of the house, and then Lot said, "No, take my daughters, man, but don't do this unkind thing." So he's prioritizing the guest. He said, you put the guest over everybody. You don't. He was about to put the guest over his own daughters, man. A complete stranger. But you see that? But let me read on. So it says, right, I was a stranger, and ye took me in, naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Right? Let me get to the point, verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. So you also have to be considerate of the least. Right? Oh, you know, we don't have to listen to you guys, because I know that's probably the mind frame that GMS South Carolina guy is going to have. He's got the mind frame of, oh, we ain't got to listen to you guys, you're nobodies, right? And then that further just digging a hole for himself. If he ever responds like that, which most likely he will, Lord, when he don't, like I said, I'm not expecting a response to this video, and I'm just doing it because I'm in the spirit, right? Based on the madness that he did, I saw coming out his mouth in that sit down he did, right? But let me read on. So it says, let me get to the point. Verse 41, then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels, referring to what? The thermonuclear destruction. The devil and his angels referring to the lake of fire, right? The thermonuclear destruction. Right, the angel is talking about his military. When you go to Revelations, I believe chapter 12, it talks about his angels were cast down to the earth with him. Roughly paraphrasing. Right, for I was a-hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. That's it. There you go. And you took me not in. Okay. So he's going off there. What's the saying? Pride before a fall. There you go. Proverbs 14 verse 3. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Beautiful. Right? The man really had pride, and that's why he's trying to make an excuse. What a sinful man maketh an excuse. Shalom to the brother 1 in 8 billion. Shalom, may the Most High bless you. Right? So everyone who hasn't checked in is out of order. You see, shalom to the brother Abadah, the brother Hanayo. 144, Shalom, may the Most High bless you in your household. Matthews 19 and 14, but Yahweh says, Suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. So you're refusing a man that could potentially be part of the elect. Because you got to think about it, in the end, when we all come together in that feast of the Lord, and we get given those crowns, Lord willing, I'm a part of that number, Lord willing, we're all a part of that number. You're going to look at that man that you refused, and what are you going to say to him? You're going to say a massive apology. You have to. That's what the scriptures always remind us to think about the end. If I refuse this man, what if he's of the elect or one of the Lord's little ones, and he makes it and I don't make it? Right? What if we both get saved or delivered, and then but the Lord makes it where I have to apologize to him, or I become the least, that he becomes the first. I've got to serve him. We also got to think like that, man. Okay? That's what says the wise man will fear in everything. Okay, shalom to the sister Sharon R. Right, shalom, may the Most High bless you and your household. Khan, I seen the first time coming across him, his spirit was not of the Holy One, not of Yahweh. Yeah, why Yahweh Shah? Yeah, exactly. Likewise, beloved. Yes, exactly right. Because, you know, you certain see things about the guy. You see how he deals. He's very harsh with other men that could be potentially part of the elect and are sincere. And I understand you were elder. You got a lot of subscribers. You got a lot of men coming in your comment section. You got a lot of scoffers coming there. You know, so you're trying to be firm, right? You're trying to be stern with certain brothers. But you also need to be careful. You also need to have a balanced mind frame, even in your rebuke, even in your disciplining of other men. Right? At least you douse his fire and you put a wet blanket over his fire, man. So you also got to think about that. Right, but that's the point. That's the point. It's a bit over the amount that I wanted, but yeah, I made my point, man. But like I said, the amount of likes that man got, that means there's a lot of men within Great Millstone that are not really in the spirit. They're not seeing things clearly. The Lord hasn't given the eye salve to see where the fuckery is. Or there's men that do see the fuckery and they're too afraid to say anything against GMS South Carolina just in case they get kicked out of the camp or get blacklisted or ostracized, man. And that's the beautiful part about not being a part of a camp. There's no respecter of persons. There's no respecter of persons in judgment, and we can speak openly, right? Not disrespectfully, like crazy, just talking shit about everyone, but we understand. We're not afraid of men, of dick pleasing or man pleasing, because the judgment is of the Lord, right? And like I said, you might say great men are not always wise, because really is GMS South Carolina that went off. But the part that I have a problem with is that he did a narcissistic, prideful maneuver when he tried to switch it on the brother, the young brother, trying to make it look like he was going off. No, you should have never refused him in the first place. You're a man actively out there on the battlefield. You should be welcoming all men, right? You should be welcoming men that desire to enter in, right? Shalom to the elder Sagalar, Barak Yom, Shalom, may the Most High bless you and your household, right? So you might argue and say, oh, he gave an order not for him to come. He shouldn't have bring out that order in the first place. That's just me, right? But anyway, with that, Shalom, I hope you edified. Shalom.